Anna Brandt, thank you. For more, let's bring in our panel. David Carlucci, Democratic strategist and former New York State Senator, and Lindsay Lee, Republican strategist and author of the upcoming book, Unburdened. Thank you both for being here. Lindsay, I will start with you tonight. You heard Hannah. The U.S. and Iran have agreed to stop this latest round of strikes and resume talks this week. But this isn't the first time the two sides have tried for diplomacy, only for it to falter at the very end. Do you think the strikes will hold off this time?
Well, I think my answer might surprise you a little bit. I'm a supporter of the first Trump administration's foreign policy, which is no more forever wars. The Trump administration just went to Congress this past week and asked for $88 billion more. And we need a game plan. We need to get out of their stat, because we don't have an exit strategy. And right now we see that 22% of Republicans are upset at the way that President Trump is handling the economy. And if we want to hold on to the House and the Senate, we need to give them a clear reason as to why. And so we need to get out of the situation as soon as possible and pivot homeward, because that's what matters. And Americans are hurting. They have paid $50 billion more in gas prices as a result of this war. So I'm not a fan of continuing this misadventure overseas.
David, the Strait of Hormuz is still the sticking point in these talks. How can the U.S. ensure that Iran stays committed to its part of the MOU to ensure safe passage for ships through the strait? Again, I know this is just an understanding. It's not a treaty. But how do they do this without jeopardizing the fragile ceasefire?
Yeah, it's a good question. And I agree with my friend here about the issues with the problem with going into this situation when campaigning on America first and then moving so quickly without bringing the American people on board, let alone our allies. And so now we have a major foreign relations disaster on our hands. And that's the situation. So I wish I had the answer to your question. But that is something that needs to be figured out by the White House. And I think it's going to be through diplomacy. And this idea that the president's going to bomb his way to peace, I think, is absurd. And so this is the problem when you move without our allies. It's the reason why diplomacy is so important and why Donald Trump was successful on the campaign trail. And now he's breaking his campaign promises. It's unfortunate, and I think this is going to be a problem for the Republicans in the midterms.
Yeah, we'll see how these talks also play out on Tuesday. Let's come back to Washington, Lindy. Speaker Mike Johnson says he will send the housing bill Congress recently passed to President Trump's desk. We do know Trump last week saying he would not sign it unless Congress passes the Save America Act on elections. This housing, as you well know, this housing bill has bipartisan support. Do you see the president continuing to hold off on signing it?
Frankly, it doesn't really matter, because as long as the House remains in session, the bill is going to pass. And I think Trump sees political value in standing strong on the Save America bill, which I'm actually in favor of. There's no reason why there shouldn't be proof of citizenship. There's no reason why there shouldn't be photo ID or the purging of dead people and legal aliens from our voter rolls. And even if fraud is minimal, one vote that is illegally cast is one vote too many, especially in those swing districts where a tiny number of votes can tip the balance either way. And tens of millions of illegal aliens poured into our country during the Biden administration. We need to instill a sense of faith and confidence in the sanctity of the vote. And I think the Save America bill, it commands resounding support across the populace, Republican or Democrat.
David, outgoing Republican Senator Tom Tillis says implementing the SAVE Act before the midterms is, quote, an impossible task. If that's the case, why is the president dead set on its passage?
Yeah, the senator is absolutely correct. If you actually read this legislation, if it were passed before the midterms, all it would be is voter suppression. It would basically require every board of elections to go through and basically re-register people with no funding for implementation. So it's actually, there's no reality of this actually being implemented. The president knows there's not the votes. You need just take a calculator out. You'll see that. And the fact that now you have a bill on your desk that could do something to help people afford housing, and you're saying no, I'm going to veto it because I don't have a piece of legislation that I don't have the votes for. It's absurd in this Congress where you have so little bipartisan legislation. You finally have a piece of bipartisan legislation and the president is standing in the way. It speaks volumes to what this president cares about. And the American people see that.
There's a lot to talk about tonight. I'm going to pivot a bit. Lindy, President Trump yesterday announced former Oklahoma Highway Patrol officer Lance Schroyer is his pick to be the new director of ICE. Now, Schroyer does not really have any federal law enforcement experience. With that said, there are many in Washington who like the outsider picks. Would that help or hinder his chances when it comes to the confirmation process?
Oh, I think this is a resounding pick. We need to pivot back to strong immigration reform. And I'm speaking as a legal immigrant. I'm a proud and grateful American who came to our country the right way, followed all the rules, never took a handout, didn't skip the line, didn't storm the southern border. This is the way it should be. Being an American is a privilege. It's not a right. And somebody like Lance will definitely bring back attention to mass deportations, which will rile up the base and get everyone excited in advance of the midterms. Because frankly, the Republican majority is running into headwinds, historical headwinds. It's always hard for the party in the White House to retain power. So I think Trump knows that this will galvanize a base, and that's exactly why he picked Lance.
David, I'll give you the last word tonight.
Yeah, I'm hopeful that they can focus on actual immigration reform. What we've seen so far is just intimidation right now with ICE, with the fact that they refuse to have demasking of ICE officers. So focus on immigration reform so more people can follow the process that my friend has talked about, have a process that actually works. But we haven't seen that. So that's where we need to see the president spend that political capital, not just on enforcement, but also on reform. So we could fix this program or fix this problem long term. And not just put a Band-Aid on it, but actually solve the immigration problem that so many people agree is a major problem.
Like I mentioned, it was a busy night tonight. Thank you for coming on and exploring all these topics with me. Lindsay Lee, David Carlucci, we hope you come back, guys. I enjoyed this. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.